In the first frames, we see a woman walking down a night street in her nightgown. Some girl was watching her from the window, frightened. 6 months earlier, Anna arrived in another city for work. Augustine, the employer, met her at the bus stop, and they went together to his house. Augustine lives outside the city in a luxurious cottage. Anna couldn't help but admire it. First, Augustine showed Anna, who would be working as a caregiver, her room. The girl looked around the house, which seemed too big for just 2 people. Anna's attention was drawn to the paintings and the art supplies. But what worried her most was meeting the patient, Sarah, who was in a coma. In the evening, Augustine prepared dinner. Cooking had once been his hobby. When Anna tasted the dish, she noted how delicious it was. The girl shared that she used to help her sister care for children. She had an exam coming up soon, but for now Anna had no concrete plans. Augustine has been staying at home for 2 years, so he was happy to have any company. Suddenly the girl asked what had happened to Sarah. Augustine explained that Sarah had a hereditary mental illness. Her mother was also mentally ill, and Augustine was still suing her for custody of Sarah. Some time ago, Sarah became pregnant and fell into a depression, firing the maid. One day while Augustine was in town, she climbed onto the windowsill and deliberately stepped off. Remembering this, the man wept. Unable to bear it any longer, he left the table. That night, Anna couldn't sleep and went to the kitchen to drink a glass of milk. She also decided to check on Sarah. Anna flinched when the patient suddenly opened her eyes. Sarah's piercing gaze made Anna fall out of reality. The girl returned to the patient's room, seeing a broken glass and spilled milk on the floor. Anna suspected she had sleepwalked and searched for information online. Some causes of sleepwalking include stress and changes in environment. Augustine had no intention of shifting all the responsibilities of caring for his wife onto the caregiver, so Anna had time to study. Later, Anna watched Augustine work in his workshop. He noticed the girl and called her over. Wood carving was now Augustine's only outlet. Anna was impressed by his work. Every time she tried to talk about Sarah, Augustine changed the subject. In the evening, Anna wrote to her sister Marta about her sleepwalking episodes. In response, Marta sent a funny picture. At night, Anna was awakened by music. She didn't dare leave her room. Augustine's house was full of books and photographs of his wife. Sarah used to be a real beauty. Anna decided to read a novel to the patient. Augustine liked that. His wife used to love reading aloud too. It was clear that Augustine missed the past. That night, Anna couldn't sleep again. Suddenly she was distracted by a creak. The front door was open. It was pouring rain outside. After closing the door, Anna heard another sound, coming from Sarah's room. This frightened the girl. Grabbing a heavy object, she quietly entered and saw an elderly woman trying to take Sarah away. It was her mentally ill mother. The caregiver tried to convince the woman that this would only make things worse for Sarah. When the woman started becoming aggressive, Anna jumped back and locked the door. This woke Augustine, who threw the wife's mother out of the house. The next day, Augustine's lawyer came over, who believed that the fact Sarah's mother had broken into the house would give them a strong chance of winning the case. Augustine introduced the caregiver to the lawyer. Later, while Anna was caring for the patient, she found a lot of beautiful clothes in her wardrobe. Anna dressed Sarah and took her to the garden in a wheelchair, continuing to read the novel to her. But some movement nearby distracted Sarah. It was just some curious neighborhood children who called Sarah sleeping woman and claimed that every night she walks into town and steals people's souls. Anna treated it as just children's fantasies, saying that even if Sarah could walk, she wouldn't harm anyone. When the children left, Anna looked again into Sarah's piercing eyes, and the next moment she found herself in the car. Anna didn't remember anything at all, feeling completely disoriented. Pulling herself together, she rushed to the garden. Sarah was still there. Noticing the caregiver's worried expression, Augustine asked if everything was okay. She assured that it was. Augustine gave her a gift, a bicycle. This made Anna happy, allowing her to briefly forget about the recent mysterious incident. Anna went for a bike ride, stopping by the pharmacy to get some supplements for herself. Everyone in this small town knew about the tragedy in Sarah and Augustine's family. As Anna was leaving, she saw a girl drawing. One of her drawings depicted something strange. Feeling uneasy, Anna texted Marta again. The girl felt like there was something in the house, and it didn't like her being there. Because of this, she couldn't focus on her exam preparation. Anna bought Sarah a new book, hoping to cheer her up. Augustine told the caregiver that she could take anything she wanted from Sarah's wardrobe. It saddened him that all those things were lying around like junk, as Sarah no longer needed them. Soon social workers arrived. Seeing Anna wearing his wife's scarf gave Augustine a sense of déjà vu. The social workers asked a few questions to the caregiver and the patient's husband for the court. They wanted to speak with the caregiver alone. Anna said that Augustine had completely devoted himself to caring for his wife. Later Augustine thanked her. Now all they could do was wait for the court's decision. Every day Anna reads to Sarah. Today Augustine would be going to the court hearing in the city and wouldn't be staying overnight, so Anna would have to manage alone. When Anna looked into Sarah's eyes again, she found herself behind the wheel of her car. She barely avoided an accident. It was already late at night. Barely maintaining her composure, Anna returned to the cottage. Sarah was still in the garden. In a panic Anna called Marta and told her what had happened. Supplements were clearly useless in such a situation. Anna spent the whole night reading about astral travel online and fell asleep right at the table. In the morning, Augustine returned and hugged Anna, telling her they had won the court case. He suggested they celebrate. Anna went to the store for wine and groceries for the upcoming dinner. There she met the same boy and girl again, as well as Manuela, their mother. She told Anna about the scary story of Sleeping Woman, which the local children used to frighten each other. Manuela had known Augustine for a long time. Before the tragedy, he had been a cheerful person. Manuela was surprised that Augustine had decided to hire a caregiver, as he never let anyone help him before. In the evening, Augustine cooked dinner and offered Anna his signature drink, which turned out to be too strong. They had a great time. Augustine hadn't laughed so sincerely in a long time. They were close to crossing the line. Feeling attracted to Anna, Augustine realized he should leave. That night, Anna couldn't sleep again. In the morning, she packed her things and was ready to leave. Her feelings for Augustine were interfering with her work. He couldn't stop Anna, but he offered to give her a ride. At one point, unable to bear it any longer, Augustine stopped the car. It was really hard for him to cope on his own, and he wanted Anna to stay. In the end, their feelings took over. Back at the house, Anna used Sarah's makeup. In the next moment, Anna was woken by Augustine, who gently took a shard from her hand. After treating her cut palm, he asked what had happened. The girl didn't remember anything. It really scared her. While Augustine went to get bandages, Anna rushed into Sarah's room, knowing it was her doing. When Sarah opened her eyes again, Anna found herself in the garden. This had happened several times. Anna asked Augustine if he had ever felt like there was something off about Sarah. The girl told the beloved about her memory lapses, convinced that Sarah was somehow involved. Augustine thought it was nonsense and intended to take Anna to the doctor the next day. She was prescribed a strong sedative. Since everyone in this town knows each other, Anna asked the pharmacist, lured, for the phone number of the maid who used to work in Augustine's house. The man didn't like it when the new girl showed affection toward him in front of Sarah. Despite everything, she was still his wife. Anna suggested that they end the relationship if Augustine thought it was wrong. Augustine often thought it would be better if Sarah had passed away. But she was alive, and he couldn't pretend otherwise. When Anna mentioned that Augustine used to be a different person, he didn't like it. No one in the town knew either Sarah or him. People just gossiped for no reason. Anna knew she could never replace Sarah, no matter how much Augustine might want that. To clear his head, he went for a ride on his motorcycle and came back late. Augustine couldn't help but be surprised when he saw Anna with a haircut just like Sarah's. He involuntarily tried to recreate the illusion of the past at the expense of Anna's feelings. Soon Anna's sister Marta came to visit, having decided to take a break from her husband and kids. Anna introduced Marta to Augustine, and they had dinner together. Marta went to the restroom, and when she returned to the table, Anna immediately noticed from the look on her face that something was wrong. But she tried her best to keep the conversation going. When the sisters went out onto the porch, Marta told Anna that she was making a terrible mistake by dating the patient's husband and dressing in her old clothes. Despite everything, Sarah and Augustine were still husband and wife. Anna told her sister to get out. The next day, Augustine was heading to the city on business and asked Anna to take care of Sarah. When Anna was about to change the patient's clothes, there was a bang from the next room. It was one of the paintings of Sarah, who was an artist before the tragedy, that fell down. Anna found an article online about Sarah, whose last exhibition was held in 2018. Anna tried to call Augustine's former maid but only reached her voicemail. Then Anna decided to visit Manuela's bar, who noticed that Anna had changed her look. Manuela agreed to talk, revealing that Augustine used to be a very sociable person, but after marrying Sarah, he broke ties with all his old friends and hardly left the house. Sarah had been impulsive and often caused scenes in public. It seemed that Augustine really loved her, as he had given up his former life. Manuela believed that no one could help Augustine as long as Sarah was alive. At home, Anna had another memory lapse. She found herself near a canvas with a paintbrush in her hand. However, Anna said nothing to Augustine. She was very afraid of hurting him and herself. Of course, Augustine couldn't help but notice her condition. Anna woke up in a ward, not remembering what had happened yesterday. Augustine told her she was pregnant. Both Augustine and Anna were happy. But she couldn't shake her sense of unease. Augustine took care of his beloved in every way possible. At some point, Anna said she wouldn't go back to that house because of Sarah. Now Anna needed to focus on her child above all else. Augustine made a difficult decision, to put Sarah in a care home. He knew he had to move on, or the past would consume him completely. Anna wanted to be the sole mistress of the house. Augustine had already arranged for his wife to be placed in the nearest care facility. Anna was enjoying her pregnancy and life with Augustine, ignoring messages from Marta. On the other hand, Anna understood that this couldn't go on forever. She had to tell her sister the truth. Augustine gave his beloved a gift, a wooden bust of her. That night, Anna couldn't sleep, continuing to ignore calls and messages from her sister. Looking out the window, Anna saw the light in Augustine's workshop. Anna immediately felt unwell. The next moment she found herself on the roof. Barely avoiding falling, Anna managed to climb back in through the window. Summoning her courage, she went to Augustine's workshop. He, by the way, was working there at the time. When Augustine fell asleep, Anna took some sleeping pills, but it didn't work. She found herself in the garden, where she dug up a tin box from the ground. Inside was an old button phone. At home, after finding a suitable charger, Anna managed to turn on the phone. Apparently Sarah was secretly using the spare phone to communicate with her mother, in secret from her oppressive husband. Hearing Augustine's voice, Anna quickly hid the phone and pretended that everything was fine. The next morning when Augustine left, Anna went to Sarah's mother, Sophia, and asked her what really happened. It turned out that Sarah had lost her unborn daughter even before the jump. After that, Sarah wanted to report Augustine to the police, but he talked her out of it. Since then, Sarah hadn't spoken to her mother. Learning that her daughter was in a care facility, Sophia felt relieved. Anna promised to find out the address of the care home for her. It turned out Augustine had been following Anna. On the way back, he told her that everything Sophia said was a lie because she was crazy. However, Anna started to have doubts. Maybe Augustine wasn't as good as he first seemed. When Augustine went into a gas station store, Anna panicked, realizing he had locked the car doors. At home, Anna refused dinner. Augustine's former maid called her back. Pretending it was Marta, Anna managed to talk to the maid in another room. It turned out that it wasn't Sarah who fired her, but Augustine. The maid's words confirmed Sophia's version that Augustine wasn't who he pretended to be. Anna realized that all this time, Sarah wasn't trying to drive her out of the house but to warn her. Hearing footsteps, Anna ended the call. Augustine seemed caring, but Anna was certain it was deceptive. Unable to sleep, Anna entered Sarah's studio where her paintings were still hanging. Without knowing why, Anna picked up a paintbrush. When she came to her senses, she saw a painting of a woman being pushed by a man. That's how Anna realized the terrible truth. What happened to Sarah wasn't an accident. Augustine's workshop was locked. Anna climbed onto the roof using a ladder and saw through the skylight that Sarah was here. In reality, Augustine hadn't taken her to any care home. Anna couldn't process what she was seeing. Before Augustine noticed her, she drove off in her car. But at some point Anna stopped and began to cry. She couldn't leave Sarah there. Grabbing a wrench, Anna returned and broke the lock on Augustine's workshop. She was going to rescue Sarah, but the next moment she found herself near the car. Augustine noticed her. Anna said she wanted to leave. Augustine tried to convince her to see a doctor, but Anna knew she wasn't crazy. And Sarah wasn't crazy either, unlike Augustine. Anna tried to escape but Augustine wouldn't let her. He grabbed Anna, but she managed to wound him and lock herself in the workshop. As Augustine started banging on the door, Anna, crying, hugged Sarah. She was terrified. Suddenly Anna and Sarah switched bodies. Sarah was intent on taking revenge on her husband, slowly advancing toward him. Falling to his knees, Augustine tearfully begged his wife for forgiveness, but she was relentless. Thus the revenge was complete, and Sarah was freed. 5 months later the woman gave birth to a baby girl, whom she named Sophia, after her grandmother.